Another week, another FC25 patch, and this one is quite significant. And I know many of you are wondering what tactics should we use. One of the common questions that I am being asked is the 4-4-1-1 still viable? 4-4-1-1, which has been my favorite formation since FIFA 24 or FC24, I should say. Is it still good? Of course, it is still good because the most overpowered thing right now is the first time lob through pass, first time ground through pass. And this formation gives you exactly that. And I've also been obsessing about the finish shots lately. That is the reason you see Heung-min Son at the LM position. And yes, I am experimenting with different player roles on the 4-4-1-1, which we will discuss. But before the 4-4-1-1, we have the 4-4-2 formation. This is a formation that I have been using a lot lately. It is again my second best formation after the 4-4-1-1, but it is my most played formation in the history of my FC career. Guys, why the 4-4-1-1? Because the combination of power shots and finesse shots is really overpowered in the current meta. You need one striker to have finesse shot. That is really important, right? And another striker to have power shot plus, because power shots are still very good. I have Kelly Smith. She has a 5-star weak foot. Means she can whip those finesse shots with either foot. You can get a similar player, and that is best used in a 4-4-2. A 4-4-1-1, while it is great for the first time lob through pass, if you're playing someone against CDMs or someone who's half decent at the game, they know how to stop the common patterns of the 4-4-1-1. I'm not saying that the 4-4-2 doesn't have common patterns. You can see some examples of the common patterns in the 4-4-2. Yes, that is why I obsess about using manual runs. You need to create manual runs to be able to just surprise the opponent. And the way I'm setting up the 4-4-2, you will have more help from the attacking AI. It's not to say that you cannot do first time lob through passes in this formation. You can. How do you do that? While you are passing the ball from Alexia to Rooney, you tell Smith to run and then you do a first time lob triangle with Rooney. That is as simple as that. Yes, the cam is more efficient at doing this, but it is still possible in the 4-4-2. And in the 4-4-2, the positioning of the wingers is really good. And in the 4-4-2, you can also whip finish shots, similar to the 4-4-1-1, but you have two CMs. And yes, 4-4-2 is more attacking than the 4-4-1-1 formation. I personally like to use Alexia as a playmaker in this formation and Son as an inside forward, Rafinha as a wide playmaker. So this is how the formation looks like in game, right? Both of them are on target. The new Cristiano Ronaldo is coming, right? If I have someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, which I think he can change the meta, because I know player lock chip passes like in FC24 are still very overpowered in this game. So when we have a good striker like Ronaldo, we can use him as a target forward. We can use player locks, whip the ball into him, and then head it down for the pass. We can do an aerial 1-3 pass, an aerial lob through pass first time with someone like Cristiano Ronaldo. We know Hullet can win the ball in the air. We know Ronaldo will win the ball in the air. That is something to look out for. Yes, so you have an option. You have an option for sure. But because we don't have either of those players, we are using it this way. Drogba is also a great striker. I would recommend having one striker with finesse shot plus and one with advanced forward. Otherwise, this formation will not work. What about the other CM? I'm using him as a holding player. Let's say if you don't have someone with the plus role and they have box to box plus, I would rather use them on box to box. But Alexia is really good on the playmaker role. For the fullbacks, if you don't have a habit of manually triggering the fullbacks, because you have to manually trigger the fullbacks to create a 2 versus 1 against the opponent's fullback. In that case, you can use wing back, but you will be exposed on the counter attack, especially if someone is playing the 4-3-3-4 or any 4-3-3 variation or a formation which has wingers like a 4-2-1-3. Then you will struggle if your wing back is high on the pitch. When you are doing it manually, you know when it is safe to do. And the reason to explain each of these things is to enhance your tactical ability on this game. So you can also think for yourself during the game. Just copying tactics takes you so far. For me, I am used to of creating 2 versus 1. I have good muscle memory, so I'm using fullback. This is how my formation lines up. Keeper is always on sweeper, keeper. But you can adjust these roles to your own liking. Like you can keep one of the wingers as a winger. Or if you are using Salah, you can have him as an inside forward, so he can also whip and finish shots, okay? Here you have to use your tactical knowledge. I'm using balanced and I'm using 65 depth, but I often change it to 70 in game or 71 because I like to apply high press on the opponent, and auto offside traps are really helpful against certain opponents. And against some opponents, you have to just adjust your defensive line to sit a little bit deeper. Then we have the 4-4-1-1. I usually use my players as wingers, but because of the finish shot meta that we are in, and I bought Son for 1 million coins, I didn't want him to be out wide for the recycles, right? I want him cutting inside for the finish shot. So I'm using left mid as an inside forward, okay? My RM is wide playmaker because he is good. He has tiki taka. He is really good on the ball. Again, same thing. If we have more Salah or someone similar like Saka, then we are going to use inside forward. For the playmaker, I like Rooney better on shadow striker compared to playmaker, right? Because that's Rooney. But on Alexia, I prefer playmaker. Rooney isn't really a great cam, to be honest, compared to Alexia. Alexia is the best cam I've ever used in this game in the current meta because her first time ground through passes, lob through passes, her dribbling, her Trivela shots, her finish shots, her everything is great about this girl. Yeah, I mean about this player, right? So she's really good. And we are going to use both of them as holding players. Again, same thing applies. If you're not good with manually triggering the fullbacks, then use your left back as a wing back. Otherwise, use him as a fullback. Keeper is going to be a sweeper keeper. We are going to use build up style balance simply because we use a lot of manual runs and our depth is 68. And if we want to bump it up, we do bump it up, but I never go below 60 depth. That is just too passive for me. I highly recommend to take this extra step. Make a 4-4 formation because there will be scenarios where you cannot pause the game, okay guys? So in that case, use counter, aggressive, use poacher on one striker, advance forward on the other striker, playmaker, box to box, inside forward, attacking wing backs, and also activate team press in game and just go out at the opponent. Just make this formation beforehand because sometimes you cannot pause and you need a goal back. Here is the code for the 4-4 aggressive formation. Here is the code for the 4-4-2. Don't spam code. And here is the code for the 4-4-1-1 formation. Enjoy.